Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Welcome to a laugh and learn about worthiness. So, join us. And I do want to give full credit to Hexa right here. She was the one who, when Hershe, Betsy, and I did a laugh and learn about supporting yourself when working with guides, who mentioned worthiness in the chat. And it was like, oh, I'm writing that down. That was back in April. And now it's June, and we are sharing the space to talk about that. So, and for everyone who doesn't know, Hexa, Tarot and Witchery, also Natural Witchery. Also, links are below in the description. And if you search for it's going to show up as Learn Tarot and Witchery, but you'll find her, right? That's fair. Okay. You're muted, by the way.
Oh, yes.
So thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. We are also joined by medium Betsy Palmer, who links are below as well as how to get a hold of Betsy for individual private readings. So, and Hershe, the shadow reader. Hello, Hershe.
Hello.
Hershe has a little bit of a delay in her video. She lives in the great state of Texas, which, yeah, anyhow, that's all I'm going to say about that. But, slight
delay is just kind of congruent, right?
Yes. I'm Tarot Stash. Thank you, everybody, for being here.
And Gerald, thank you for hosting. Mwah.
Oh, I'm pleased. I'm pleased. And this is for entertainment purposes only. Do not make decisions based upon what we say. Seek professional assistance, really. And one of the things that I have been saying of late is reminding people that it takes a lot of courage to ask when you need help. It takes a lot of strength to do that. And it really does show your worthiness when you go, I need help. And that is not a sign of weakness. That is a sign of absolute strength.
Yes.
So yes. So, but, okay, let's say hi to, here, some of the best chatters. The best, the best lurkers, the work lurkers, the best chatters, and thank you all for being here. Look, I'm so the energy is like totally awesome, everybody. So, and let's go through and see who's here. And Madame Marita is here, and she's posting links to websites. And we have Betsy's channel and Hershe's channel. And Beth is here, Aspasia Rising.
Hello.
And Carl is here. Hello, Carl. Good to see you. CJ has joined us. And Patricia is here. Hello. Great to see you. Model at Your Desk is here. Hi, Model at Your Desk. Twisted Sushi, hello. And I think I saw Jonathan. Did I see Jonathan yet?
Yeah, I saw him.
There he is. Hi, Jonathan. Good to see you.
Brother.
Dancing Soul Sister, good to see you. And I think Thomas may be popping in. Is that possible? Anyhow, I'm missing people. I'm not going to beat myself up about it. So you're all here, and Hershe disappeared and will be back shortly, I'm sure. And Plucky Heroine is here. Hello.
Oh, hi.
Housework lurking. So, yes.
I do that a lot on here when I listen to you while I'm gardening.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Does that count for gardening for me?
Sure, it can.
Okay. Thank you, Carl, for subscribing. And Marjorie has joined us. And my apologies if I've missed anyone. Linda Kelzer. And Dancing Soul Sister is Crochet Lurking. I fully support that. Jen is here. Hello. Good to see you. Amanda Carroll. And yes, Thomas is here, so that's good. I call this amazing person here Saint D. She's a friend of Deb's, who has been offering Deb beautiful help. So, but yeah. So, okay. I'm going to take a sip.
Sip.
Yes. So, we're talking about worthiness. And worthiness, I'm just going to start with a basic definition. What is worthiness to you? And I want to give, and feel free in the chat to post your comments. I feel like I'm shouting too. But what is worthiness to you, and who would like to go first?
I'll go. I'm actually ready.
Okay, go for it. Yes, and this is our first overachiever here. So, and I love this.
Well, I thought about this because I kept trying to boil it down to a definition, because worthiness to me is it's kind of a feeling in so many ways, a connection to myself. But I finally did boil it down to recognizing my divine intrinsic value. Recognizing my divine intrinsic value, like knowing that I am connected to myself, connected to the divine. I am divine. What I have is intrinsic. It's not divided. I don't have to qualify for it. I am worthy. And it's a feeling of my own personal value, not dependent on anything outside of myself.
That's powerful. That's powerful.
Oh no. April, thanks for channeling the word to me, because a couple of weeks ago, the word value came into my awareness that hadn't existed there before in the discussion of worthiness. So thank you for sending that over. I appreciate that. Yeah. So to me, worthiness is about value, and it is also about deserving. And for me, it comes down to recognizing that whatever you believe other people deserve, you can embrace the equal for you. So, and I don't like to label things good and bad, but if a friend of yours is struggling and you want them to recognize they deserve well-being, right? To bring that home too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if I expressed that well, but you guys get it.
Yeah. Hershe, would you like to go?
Sure. I actually brought my handy dandy notebook because, if I'm being honest, I struggled with this, right? So, to me, it's a mixture, and it takes ingredients, and those ingredients are value, respect, integrity, and attention. They have to grow, it has to flow, and it has to be able to adjust. As we grow, I think the value of the word itself changes. And I think that we start with one place and then life shows us something completely different. And we found a much smaller answer. And mine definitely comes down to value, respect, integrity, and intentions.
That's really great. That's really great. Before I go, before I share, I'm going to actually, a few more people have popped in, and I want to say hello to everybody. Beth did share, worthiness is feeling you are worthy of happiness and joy, but no more worthy than anyone else. And Dancing Soul Sister said, recognizing my intrinsic value. And Jane is here, Pogo is here, Hypnicity. And the difficult task with worthiness to me is that although you can feel worthy in a vacuum, when you are with people who jab at your worthiness, old patterns come into play and you feel less than. That's very true. That's very true. And Kaylee did share, Beth, that has been so big for me, feeling worthy of happiness and joy and not seeing that as selfish if I do. That's well said. Well said. And yeah, and Dancing Soul Sister said, we are born worthy, every and each one of us, no matter what we were told. Yep. Yep. Jonathan shared, worthiness is feeling that it's okay to have dreams you can work toward despite everyone else's opinion about your worthiness. Mm-hmm. And Patricia said, I agree with Beth. It's a constant upgrade within oneself to speak up with others who are projecting. They are not a reflection of you. That's nice. So, and we have from Hypnicity, observing all things without judgment, including myself. This is, this is, y'all are beautiful. Thank you. You're making my day. I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm the energy is beautifully surging. So, um, um, Marita said in the book, The Little Princess, they talked about the Indian belief that all girls are born princesses and all boys are princes. So it's that idea of you are born with the sense of worthiness. Yeah. So, hi, KK. Pamela said, seems like worthy is attached to other qualities, like being worthy of respect. I agree with you, and I think Hershe, you gave those things that because as Hexa said, it's a feeling, and how do you boil that down? It's really, really hard. I think for me, my worthiness to me is believing that I am perfect just how I am, my flaws and all, and that regardless of who I interact with, I don't change. And I stay true um, to this. I am to be loved. I am worthy of love. I deserve that. And some worthiness oftentimes for me does relate to self-esteem, because self-esteem is one of those things that when I have self-esteem and I feel really good, I am able to step up and meet the challenges that I have and the opportunities and I can learn. So yeah. So all right.
I'd like to add to that.
Yes.
When we have good self-esteem, we're in a vulnerable posture where we don't have anything to prove, and we are very teachable. We're open to the world. We're open to others, and so I feel like that's a really good point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, and we can develop our self-esteem. It takes work, but I will talk about that with a later question that we have. So, Jane says, I struggle with this. I know it is connected to believing my dad left because of me. It was drilled into me. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And
For me, the word worthiness, the trigger in the word worthiness is, in my mind, it's a 100% or nothing kind of a deal. And I have always struggled with that concept because I've had a colorful past, folks. There's no two ways about it. I have done some things. I have seen some things, but I have done plenty. So for me, if you're looking at your actions as good and bad, right, and with the intention of now living my life authentically and with integrity, reconciling things I have done with the things that I want to do was always a back and forth struggle with me about worthiness. And
Oh.
that is where the word value, again, thank you, Hexa, for channeling that over. The word value has, it may be splitting hairs, but the word value is something that I could integrate. I am breathing, therefore I am valuable to this planet because my intention on the planet is to spread love. That I can work with.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
love that. That's beautiful.
Yeah. The chat is really beautiful. So thank you for everyone for sharing. I'm gonna have a hard time keeping up with this. It's really incredible, and supporting everyone in their own worthiness. And if everyone was perfect, life would be a very boring place. Learning is part of the experience of life. Yeah. Yeah. And Beth brought up a point. Feelings of worthiness are hereditary, not genetic, but a perception about self that's passed on or learned. If your grandmother made you feel bad, was made to feel bad herself, that will end up in your head. That's so true.
I'd like to share my notes that I made on this, not
Yeah.
following your
Yeah.
script. Okay. Going on the fact that worthiness plays off on you have value because you're here and breathing. So conditional love for me was what trained me to believe that I was worthy only when performing intelligently. And what's tricky about that one is intelligence and your performance are all subjective. They're interpreted differently by everyone who observes this. So the meaning of worthy performance and performing intelligent is fluid like mercury in my mind.
Mhm.
Judging things as right or wrong is also a trap because this, again, is interpreted subjectively for each and every person observing. And so that does mean that all are worthy because all are deserving. No soul is more or less worthy of receiving. And that receiving is all experiences that your soul requires for its expansion.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Wow. Hershe, you have more notes. Anything you want to add to what we've been talking about? I'm putting Hershe on the spot.
So I struggle with this. Most of you guys already know this, but for those of you who don't, this sometimes I have to put man back into it. I know that sounds a little rough, but I have to remember that not everyone has been where I've been, has seen what I've seen, understands what I understand about maybe the other side, or about what a word means versus what man has put it in a dictionary to mean. If you have to self-justify you, I don't think you understand the value of the word. So I'm gonna do a lot of listening today so that I can remember that I am human and that we all grow differently and we learn differently. So this is something that I may see very one-sided because I see it as a moral, as a value. I see this as something that you either have or you don't have. Does not mean that I'm saying it that someone isn't worthy or somebody isn't valued, but for me to say I got to wake up this morning makes me worthy of anything and everything, versus the person that didn't get to wake up makes me sound cold-hearted, and I don't want to come across that way. So I'm learning a lot about remembering that I am still human. Even though I've been to the other side and back, I have to kind of draw a line in the sand and remember that I am here with you guys. So I have to learn that there's many ways to see this, and not see it as in someone's appearance or their net worth or who they know or who they don't know or what they've accomplished. That may be a milestone for them, but that doesn't make them worthy. I've got a lot of growing to do with this concept in man's world. So I'm listening today.
Well,
sorry.
I hope I didn't run anybody off with that.
No, go Hexa. Yeah.
It's interesting because when I actually talked about this with a few people before, and one of the things I kept coming back to is this idea: if we have an intrinsic value, then for me, I can move away from dualism. I can move away from like right or wrong, good or bad. I can simply be. And I think what's important to me about worthiness and talking about this is allowing each person to realize their own intrinsic value. Because when we do that and we rise up and we rest in who we are, we have this beautiful way of shining this perfect story. And it's messy. It is perfect in itself. Somebody mentioned that there are no perfect people, and I would almost argue we're all perfect. We just have an idea which man has made about perfectionism, which is about striving. And when we are sitting in our own worthiness, we're not striving. Yeah. We are simply being who we're created to be, loving who we are, and in that way, able to love the people around us more fully. So, I mean, I'm deeply passionate about this subject. I want everyone to feel okay with who they are and be able to get rid of the external stories that are dictating how they feel about themselves and their ability to shine in the world, because it's really crap. Sorry. And we all have to work.
I agree.
It's important for us to work through those stories,
Yeah.
It's that's a part of being here, and a part of being human is working through those stories so that we can shine.
Wow.
And that's the joy of living and being here. So anyway, I'm off my soapbox for a bit. Go ahead. Someone else jump in.
Well, I would actually say I welcome the soapbox, because this is an important thing, because we're having this conversation and all of us experience worthiness differently. And that's perfect. And what's happening is we are sharing our ideas of worthiness, and every single one of them is right for you. And because I'm able to listen, and I am okay with realizing your experience is different than mine, they are equally valuable, because all of them matter. And, people have shared in chat that they've worked really hard at overcoming the situations that they were put in growing up. And that's really powerful to see that. And, and yeah.
Wait, sorry, I'm going to interrupt. I just got to share a joke. The guides just downloaded to me that this 4-panel screen is the most perfect episode of Sex and the City ever written. We're each one of the characters, and we're in an episode.
Wow.
Sorry, Gerald, please continue.
I'm just like going, I wonder which one I am. But anyhow.
You're Gary, of course.
Oh my gosh. And so I think it's one of those things that, we are all perfectly imperfect. We're all, we're everything and we're nothing, and we're experiencing. And I think there's beauty in being able to authentically experience what's going on. And that's really, really hard to do. So, okay, there was a chat that I was going to say. And Amanda said, it's okay to still be learning worthiness, but don't deny yourself of it. The ego will make excuses to keep the same patterns. So I agree with you. And I mean, and are you okay, Hershe? You're like,
I have a question. So my question would be, would this be what they would consider that self-worth concept? I'm for some reason in my brain they are two totally different things, and I know that I feel like one has a materialistic value, and I feel that one has a virtue value. And I think maybe I don't want to say I'm overthinking it, but I don't want to underthink it either. So it to me a self-worth is a fundamental concept. So I'm just wondering if that means the same thing, I guess. Maybe I just don't understand.
That's a good question.
I think self-worth is very subjective, like you're saying. And I think worthiness again
Yes,
is
absolutely.
something I would say is like you're saying, it's core. It doesn't shift. I think our self-worth can shift as our
Okay.
view of the world shifts. That's my opinion. I mean, someone else have a different idea. But I kind of am going where you're going, Hershey, with this.
No, I agree that it changes.
Yeah, that
Okay. Okay,
self-worth
good. Okay.
and,
Well, I'm
and
not wrong then.
self-esteem, kind of plays into self-worth, which is an ongoing unraveling of our own story in order to figure out what the heck's going on with us.
That would
Yeah,
make it influencing then, right? That would make it an influencing concept.
I
Ooh,
think
that
it
makes
would
it
be something that
dangerous. Ooh,
influences
okay.
our ability to perceive our worthiness. Yes, I think that there's a screen there
Right,
that.
to see ourselves.
Mhm.
Okay.
yeah. To see
Okay. Right.
ourselves and
All right.
to
Okay. I think I
experience
can see that.
ourselves. I love this idea of, there's a general worthiness. What does it mean? And then how we individually experience that.
Mhm.
It grows, it shifts. It shifts by sometimes by minute for me, because of
Mhm.
my self-esteem. I think they're so integral to the work of being human and the experience of being human. So,
And
Okay.
but isn't that the
Okay.
whole point, really? I mean, we choose to come here to Earth, which is for the brave, and we create these contracts of experiences for our own expansion and growth and learning. And I mean, isn't that the whole thing? Is through these crazy experiences we come down to the core truth, hopefully eventually, that we're perfectly imperfect and that everything we have done is okay. And even if it's something that we are struggling to forgive ourselves, it doesn't mean we've lost our worth.
Mhm.
oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, really powerful. Yeah. Um, okay, so again, chat has been really, really beautiful. Jonathan shared the creation of the them versus us paradigm. The haves and the haves nots is the biggest thing that messes with our feeling of worth. Yeah, when we create an us and them instead of a we, it polarizes. It can have a polarizing effect.
I
So
even liked the Bob Marley movie. Did anybody see it?
I
Oh,
didn't.
oh, you got to see it. I'm a Bob Marley fan, but he talks about it's not you and me, it's not we, it's I and I. And I love that concept of
Oh,
I and I because it takes out the idea that there's any separation consciousness. And when separation consciousness comes in, it creates lack, and lack's immediately going to take you out of knowing your intrinsic value. And Betsy, I wanted to pose this question to you. When you're channeling, aren't you deeply into your self-worth, your worthiness? Aren't you in a place that allows you to get out of the way and allows yourself to just deliver what needs to come forward because you're not letting anything get in the way? Or is there something linked there for you to your own worthiness when you're at your, I hate this word, but at your best, when you're in the flow?
Great question. Thank you. The way I see my my role as a channeler and medium is that of a vehicle in service to a wiser driver. And so for me, it's actually my attempt to gain forgiveness to the wiser beings for the crazy life that I have led by choosing to provide service, hopefully that others that are in need of help can find comfort and hope.
And do you think that that wiser being is placing that qualification on you?
No,
Okay.
not at all.
All right.
Not at all. The wiser beings are always here. They're always aware, and they're always excited. If you have any inkling at all of communicating with them, they are always just overjoyed with that. But yeah, for me, I see this as a little bit of um, trying to have the personality serve the soul instead of vice versa, and yeah, and to do my part to enrich my environment, because I had a long and glorious youth of taking advantage of all the best I could of the environment. So now it's my turn to give back.
Nice.
Yeah, that's a thought-provoking question, because I've never really I've never felt that me being able to channel or do a reading is linked to worthiness, in the sense of sort of things are going off in my head going, oh my God, that works, because part of when we are, for me, it's about authenticity. When I am genuinely who I am, I feel connected to we, the divine. And I think there were times when I was struggling where I didn't feel like I was worthy enough to do this work.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like going, I hadn't really thought of that. So I hadn't really thought of that. So
I think when we know our own intrinsic value, we get out of our own way and we put that value forward. And each one of us here has a message that we came here to deliver by being ourselves. Everybody here watching this, we are here to deliver ourselves. And we just need to get out of the way and allow ourselves to really be that, without having to qualify that to anybody. We just need to be that. And that's just an ongoing work, it's not easy. There are a lot of stories. And I think the qualifying spirit, I call it a spirit, the qualifying spirit that can come over us is really an amalgam of all the stories that are around us that we've been told. And I do believe the stories that we carry in our body, our DNA, we carry some of that forward too. So I think it's a lot deeper than just the things our parents told us.
Yeah. Sandra's energy is here and shared this, and I want to put it up on the screen. This is such a trigger subject. Thank you all for showing us so many reasons that we are worthy, because we are here. We are so powerful and deserving of worth. Blessings, and thank you for doing this. Thank you. I mean, holy crap. I mean, and here's, yeah.
Won't do. I don't have a Mac.
Oh, so
Oh.
Okay, I'll do it.
Me either. Me either.
Yeah.
So this is all you get.
And see, and right now there are 42 people watching this chat, and there's going to be more people. I think everyone, when we honor ourselves and just be in our experience wherever it is, and stop trying to go, well, I shouldn't feel this way or whatever. No, I mean, cut that out. That's not going to help with the worthiness at all.
Yeah, so. Stop shitting on yourself.
Yes, please stop shitting on yourself. So,
Hershe, you've been trying to jump in here. What is it, my dear? I've seen
yes,
you.
Hershe.
I think I'm gonna stir some feathers with this. So, as a person that's been there, okay, as a person that's been addicted to alcohol, and understanding that I gave worth to alcohol, I gave worth to a negative that has to be honored. It has to be accepted. It has to be acknowledged. Ownership has to be taken there. So we can put worth into negative if we see it as a project or as a cause that, is bringing some kind of enjoyment. So sometimes you have to see the enjoyment that you're taking in as something other than joy and could be detrimental. So we put worth into things we can't even begin to describe when we see worth, I believe, as a materialistic value instead of as a moral value. And it changes, I think, the concept when she said, Betsy, how do you think this when it goes? And that's where the question was like, well, wait a minute, but what about negative that we see as a project or a cause or a habit or an addiction? How do we, I'm not speaking specifically for me, but what I'm asking is where would a good place of ownership and forgiveness stand there? Would it make that something that we found worthy, an addiction or something negative, if we saw it in the way of a project or as a cause?
Go ahead.
I can tell you what the ghosts tell me. ODs and suicides are my favorite ghosts to talk to because they all say the same thing. A lot of people in addiction say the same thing. I came into this lifetime to have a particular experience about topic this. What do you want to call it today? Abandonment issues or lack of worth issues, whatever the experience their soul intended for this lifetime. I came to this lifetime to experience, let's call it abandonment. And I did it magnificently. Do not think my life was a failure.
Mhm.
Do not think I missed the boat or I missed the important lesson. I came here to completely submerge myself in this experience to understand it completely, the full spectrum and depth of the feeling of being abandoned by everyone and everything, including myself. I did it with flair. Don't think there was any error in the timing. They all say the same thing.
And I think us placing worth on something or value on something is different than the value that we have. But I like what Betsy had to say, because I feel like I can drive from the West Coast to the East Coast and I can do it in 10 million different ways. My point is, I come here and I have something I'm here to do, and I can do it in any way, and I can get really messy, or I could, do it in ways that look less messy or more acceptable to other people. I can have more pleasure or less pleasure. I can have pleasure that someone else doesn't value. I mean, again, that's, I don't want to diminish anybody's experience here by judging it based on what I'm here to do, or be, or what makes me comfortable even,
Right.
Bravo.
Absolutely.
Bravo.
Well said. Well said. And this is, okay. I can't articulate it. It'll show up. We are blowing JJ's mind, by the way, Tuta speaks. So welcome to having your mind blown. And Linda Bishop shared, I am lucky to be 73 and healthy. As I get older, I have gotten stronger in my psychic abilities, and I cherish this community of like beings that we all are. I feel so blessed to have found. Well, thank you. And what's beautiful about it is, Linda, there are 4 of us on the screen. We all have different skills, and we all approach things differently, as Hexa said, and they're all worthy. They're all important.
All valid.
All valid, yes. Yes. So Jana shared, I try to treat myself as I would my child. So, I, you know, yeah. So because we are at 41 minutes already, and this is really, really powerful. I want to know, how do you work on worthiness? How do you work on worthiness? And one of the things that I do with worthiness for myself, and is that I try to spend a couple of minutes to when I'm struggling, I try to stop and to get back into my body, because my body is sometimes I get, surprised. I get caught up in my head and my thoughts, and I'm not paying attention to my feet on the ground, the rings on my fingers, my glasses on my nose, the feeling of water coming into as I take a drink. So worthiness for me is, it's remembering that I'm here, right here and now, not in the past and not in the future. And one of the things that I do for my own private workings is every time I do a private working, I always start with a recognizing my own worthiness spell. That is the first thing that I do. I light a candle specifically to recognize and to honor who I have been, who I am, and who I will be. Because if I don't have that synced up, I'm not going to be able to do anything as powerful as it could be. So,
Yeah, and I think that, and I mentioned this in a post, that I think being our magical beings, esoteric practitioners, being in touch with our power is about being present with ourselves and honoring ourselves in that moment. So I love that you mentioned how you honor who you are in this moment. I say, how do I work on my worthiness? I'm such a busy person. So for like you, I have to slow down, but my mantra is more being, less doing. So I'm always trying to come back to my being. Like, where is the core of myself? Am I on autopilot? Is my ego taking over? Am I just doing what I've always done? If I'm doing that, then I'm just rewriting the old story the ego wants to perpetuate. And so instead, I try to come back to myself and really be present with who I am in this moment so that I can really tap into what needs to be and let that rise up. And, that can bring questions or things to work on. But yeah, I think for me, it is about being present as well, coming back to my body and, less getting out in nature. I got to be in nature a lot. Less doing, more being.
I love that. I love that. Hershe, how do you work on worthiness?
I don't know. What I don't do is I don't judge myself. I don't over punish myself for a crime, and I'm using that very loosely, guys. It's strictly just a fundamental way of me to say it. I don't let the punishment outweigh the crime. I hold accountability. I hold ownership. I remind myself that I don't want to be the person that was March 10th, 2011. I want to be the person from March 11th, 2011 on. I want to be the person that cares. I want to be the person that is constitutionally capable of caring, not the other way around. I want to remember that I got to wake up. Somebody didn't. My life, I got to wake up. So I value and I learn by giving back, probably why I give back so much.
Mm-hmm. That is beautiful. That's really powerful. It's like, damn.
I don't know about that, but
No, that's lovely.
Yeah. I mean, everybody, 45 minutes into this, rewatch that, because that's really, really powerful, and it resonates. So there you go. I love that. I love that. Betsy, what do you have anything you want to share?
Sure. Mine was a download from the guides saying, in doing my laundry list of all the things that I had screwed up on any given moment, they said, okay, time to write your list of all the things you have done well today. And so I actually mentally go through the list of all of the tasks I have completed well. And yeah, that usually does it, because then I find the balance, and then I'm kind of back in the gray area instead of black or white.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Lovely.
Yeah. JJ says, thank you, April, Betsy, Hershe, and Gerald. You're welcome. Yeah. Hershe being profound, per usual. I'm going to wait while she laughs about that.
You knew it was coming. That's hilarious.
And and Gigi, Green Adventuring Tarot, is here. I'm not crying, you're crying.
Right.
So, yep. And
I'm over here going.
Yep. Well, see, and here's the great thing is when you do the things, so like, okay, what have I done well? It forces us to switch what we're focused on. Oh, see, even, but and that's so important, because when we focus on the small things, it's this idea of glimmers. When we focus on those small moments, when we feel aligned with our mind, body, and soul, regardless of how small it is, and we notice that and we appreciate it, we're going to start recognizing more and more of those.
Mm-hmm.
And that gives me an opportunity to be able to handle the challenges that I have differently. It gives me more strength to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and Gerald, I loved what you said about mindfulness, about coming back in your body, because really, I mean, mindfulness is just kind of where it's at, of being present in the moment, right? And that's where a little thinking of the things you've done well brings you to mindfulness. Like every little thing is like a tea ceremony, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's and your choice to do it specifically is powerful. It is a choice, and don't underestimate how strong that that intention is, to take the smallest task and to do that to the best of your capabilities.
yes.
That is huge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so, and I was, when I was talking with Purple Elephant Deb H, she's talking about this grid of healing, and that everybody adds to this energy grid. And when you do that in the way that works for you, whatever it is, and you do it as authentically as you can, it adds the value. It brings it up. And we're not telling everybody, well, you have to do 20 minutes of blah, 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 and you'd have to stand on your left foot and, tap your head and rub your belly at the same time. No, that's somebody else telling you what to do, because trust me, I've worked in public service. I know when somebody at the library who had a $50 fine and they couldn't pay it, and they said, I've only got $2 that I can pay. And I'm like, great. We've got it solved, because that, it's this, okay, here's what I am doing.
Mm-hmm.
So see, we all get up on the soapbox.
I did not encounter you as a librarian, unfortunately, with those $50 fines.
Oh, I did it a lot, and what was great is I would actually say to people, it's just like going, I love the question, what can you afford to pay?
Right.
And my job is to listen to what somebody is saying, because then it's a way for me to recognize that person and to see and to remind them of their worthiness.
Mm-hmm.
So, and oh, and Jeffrey is here. Morning meditation prayer includes, I am here for a reason and a specific purpose. Today is the next step in that journey, and for that I am thankful.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. And Beth said, must have encountered the Seinfeld librarian who literally hunted you down at your home. I love that. I love that. So, oh, here you go. Patricia said, the more I praise myself, the greater increase in my self-esteem.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
and I did see more people come in, so thank you. Okay, we are at, goodness, 52 minutes, and right now 48 people are sharing the space with us. I want to go around and because I sent my guests questions and I haven't gotten to all of those questions. But
Surprise!
we could do a part 2 if you wanted. But I want to give everybody an opportunity to share some of their whatever you want to share. I trust you, and I'm going to start with Hershe. I'm going to put Hershe on the spot, who's looking at me, who's going, thanks, Gerald. I'm listening. Well, of course you are.
Alrighty then. Y'all, I don't ever know what to say. Goodness gracious. I think we all contribute to each other, whether we realize it or not. And I think the more we realize what our impact does to other people, the more we find a way to make a gentler impact, even for ourselves. So I think compassion is a huge key word. I think that complacency is another huge key word. But adjustment and ownership is something that we carry with us everywhere we go. Everywhere we go, we have to take us with you. We can't leave us somewhere and go do whatever we want to do, right? So as long as we honor ourselves, the temple that we have, the body, the mind, and the power that we have, we can honor that in anyone, whether they are equal to us or challenged to us or maybe on another level. That doesn't make them better. It just means maybe they've got more invested and we could learn from them. So I think judgment needs to be thrown out. I think that where you're always competing, competition, I think that needs to be thrown out. When we start seeing each other on a level, equal playing field, regardless of the knowledge we have. Some has a PhD and some has a criminal PhD. We all have a value and a role. We just need to honor where we are and humbly accept where people are at in their own growth and just support them the best way they feel we can do.
Well said. And I'm going to echo what Pamela Batchelor said. Hershe, you always say the right thing.
I've taken that with me the rest of my life. We all have a certificate. It might be a PhD or a rap sheet, but we all got one.
There you go. There you go. Hexa, what would you like to say about worthiness?
We damn sure do.
You know what? I would like to say that the bravest thing that you'll ever do is decide to love yourself with reckless abandonment. And the more that you're willing to do that and dive into enjoying who you are and throwing off the constraints, the stories, the negative, the negative stories, the things that other people have told you, and you dive into the core of who you are and allow yourself to really love who you are, the more you're going to shine that light and the more you're going to receive love. That love just goes out and comes back. And it's messy. It's okay to be messy. I echo what Hershe said. We needed to have reflection. We need to have respect for others. Loving myself isn't some selfish thing. It's true love. It's diving into the divine love that is always present in who we are. So anyway, let it be messy. Let your magic out by diving into your own authenticity. And that comes by getting still and being brave enough to listen to the real cry of your heart and your soul and what it is you're here to do. And just keep running towards that. Don't listen. Don't run towards the old stories or the nots or the have nots or the should nots. Run towards the I am.
Yeah. And Twisted Sushi is reminding everybody they can join your newsletter and subscribe, because I wrote down the word messy because Hershe is doing a messy magic challenge, which is it's about worthiness. I'm going to be messy and I'm going to celebrate that because I think that's when a lot of magic happens. So, all right.
Join the newsletter.
Yes. Join the newsletter. Links are below.
Yes.
Betsy, what do you have?
For me, I could sum it up by saying self-acceptance. Accepting your whole self. Truly taking the time to understand the things that you want for yourself and the goals of what the actions that you will take to achieve the things that you want for yourself. What do those goals look like? I think being an active participant in achieving the things that you desire is self-worth and moving from integrity. So yes, accept yourself, know your goals, know what makes you happy, know what you want.
That's great. I want to. Beth shared. Hershe, I'm heaping praise in your general direction, so be careful. And Beth is. I always seem to miss half of what Hershe says when she imparts her Hersheisms, because halfway through I'm either crying or am blown away. So yeah, Hershe's like, who, me? What? So I totally get that. And actually, one of the things that I want to say is, one of the questions that I had is there a way to support worthiness in others? And I think there is. And it's really simple. It's recognizing the uniqueness in others, telling them that you appreciate it and how it has impacted you. And here's the thing. I was in therapy, 15 years ago, and I had very little self-worth. My self-esteem was very low. And then people were giving me compliments. And it was the hardest thing for me to take those compliments. And part of what I've learned is that I may not believe you when you give me a compliment. It does not mean that you don't believe it, and I should value that. Does that make sense? It's that sense of, it's like, it's really hard to switch gears. And part of it is recognizing it's difficult for me to listen to that. So I encourage everybody to take a moment and recognize the uniqueness and the beauty around you, the people that you interact with, and say that I really like it when I really like it when Hexa posts a video that gets me thinking, and that slows me down enough to go, huh, I hadn't thought about that.
Mm-hmm.
And that gives me excitement and helps me to learn something new. So thank you for that. Hexa didn't know I was going to be heaping praise in your direction, but there you go. So,
Thank you.
so,
Thank you.
so, but okay. If we can hang out backstage and maybe we can do a part 2, because I mean, right now, I hope, well, I'm just going to thank you everybody for being here. How about if I just say that? So, please do that thing where you like and subscribe to all of their channels. All of us can be reached about doing private readings. Sign up for Hexa's newsletter because there's something cool coming up. And that sort of blew my mind too. So, all right. Last minute thoughts before I press the away thing.
If nobody has told you ever in your life or recently, you are worthy, just the way you are, wonderfully, beautifully you.
Amen.
You are valuable because you're here and you're breathing.
And I like it because you are who you are, and there is nobody else like you. And I'm better because you are who you are.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you, everyone. Please.
Those are beautiful.
They are, aren't they? Take care.
Ahoy.
Bye.
Yeah.